This is our news, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight. Economic driver. The tourism minister touts a significant role Baha Mar will play in driving the country's economy this year. Plus, we hear from the director of a drug rehabilitation center who is against the decriminalization of marijuana. And stepping out in style, literally, we'll introduce you to the young entrepreneur behind the Bahamas Footwear line.
Is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks for joining us. Topping the news, with the Rosewood property, which is the final luxury brand of its multi-billion-dollar development set to open in just about 3 months, officials of Baha Mar say the mega resort continues to make steady progress and experience extreme success. And as the resort will be fully opened this year and continue to grow occupancy numbers, the tourism minister says Baha Mar will be the country's economic driver for 2018.
The hotel is meeting and exceeding their expectations, and we're very excited at the trends that we're seeing for 2018.
And as demand grows for the multi-billion-dollar mega resort, it continues to expand its offerings and grow its staff complement. Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar told our news recently the resort experienced high occupancy numbers over the Christmas and New Year's holidays, with more than 4,000 guests buzzing around the property. He anticipates those numbers to swell. In fact, the tourism minister says Baha Mar will be the engine of the country's economy in 2018.
In fact, I conservatively estimate that an additional 250,000 visitors will be coming to this country to visit this facility in 2018, and you do the math. You multiply how much those 250,000 people spend. If it's another $1,000 they spend per person, that's 250 million dropping into our economy, creating jobs for Bahamians, creating opportunities for Bahamians. So I'm very excited by this.
And according to Baha Mar's president, Graham Davis, the resort is right on track to meet those high expectations.
So 2018 starting off on the right foot. Our booking pace is very strong and continues to grow daily. And we're very excited for the next Rosewood opening, which will be in April of this year in 2018. And then beyond that, we've got exciting plans to continue the openings of the rest of Baha Mar. But we're fully open. We've got some exciting business already on the books, and we love the local community to come out and enjoy it and appreciate what we have.
Davis chose not to give any specifics, only rather stating that the numbers for 2018 are looking pretty solid.
They're above our expectations and continue to grow. Both the airlines are seeing increased demand based on our new bookings that we have for 2018, and we're very satisfied where we are.
And despite initially expressing frustration over Baha Mar's low occupancy level just a few months ago, de Aguilar expressed that he is proud of the growth the resort has made.
I mean, I think it's amazing that they have delivered such an exceptional product. I think their strategy was probably right to wait and to make sure they worked on their service levels. Obviously, there'll be some bumps in the road, but it's great. See the room, see the buzz. People are very excited to try out their offerings.
Officers of the Traffic Division are investigating a fatal traffic accident here in the capital, which claimed the life of an adult male. The incident happened shortly after 4 a.m. Sunday, and according to police, the victim may have been lying in the street when he was struck by a 2001 Chevy Aveo vehicle driven by a female. Now, when traffic officers arrived on the scene, they met the male with injuries lying in the road. He was, however, pronounced dead on the scene. Now, the driver did remain at the scene and is assisting police with investigations. Meantime, police over in Abaco are probing the discovery of 2 badly decomposed bodies that were found on Saturday. According to reports, it was around 3 p.m. yesterday when officers were alerted to the discovery of one body in the SC Boodle Highway area just 5 minutes before Treasure Key. However, when they arrived on the scene and conducted further investigations, they found another badly decomposed body as well. Now, an autopsy will be conducted to determine the exact cause of death. In other news this evening, Works Minister Desmond Bannister says this summer will be one of the best ever for the Bahamas Power and Light customers. Bannister, who has ministerial responsibility for the state-owned entity, said the new board is taking major steps to ensure generation is not an issue for June, July, August, and September.
For the first time in our history, I believe, they have engaged in making determinations as the proper amount of generation we need here. They've also been engaged in looking at transmission and distribution issues. And they've brought in consultants to look at that transmission and distribution issues. Lots of our concerns have been in relation to generation. We are going to ensure that we bring in the kind of generation we need to have proper generation of power for this island. And then we're going to work on the family islands.
The hot summer months usually create a headache for consumers, with many nights spent in the dark as high demand leads to load shedding. Bannister said the issue is BPL is still working with a lot of old, outdated equipment.
One of the big problems here has been the issue of transmission and distribution. And so I had an outage in my community, and until I called in, BPL couldn't tell that there was an outage there. And so this is a network that is an old network that we have to improve and fix. And that's what we're doing now. For example, we have engines that are probably older than your parents out in Clifton Pier. I didn't say you, older than your parents. Okay? We have engines from the 1960s, okay? And some maybe from the 1950s.
But again, he said the steps being taken by the new board will reap huge benefits for consumers in the very near future.
But the good news is that BPL has made determinations about what we need. They have sent out RFPs. They are looking at the process again, and they expect that they're going to have some final solutions. We expect that this summer is going to be better than any summer we've had in a long time. And we expect that moving ahead, the transmission and distribution will continue to improve, and we are going to have better service.
While some have called on the government to legalize marijuana, Executive Director of Teen Challenge Bahamas, Eric Fox, says he is fully against it. Fox says any move to make marijuana legal in the Bahamas would have a devastating impact on the country, as he called on the Minister's administration to meet with drug counseling groups to discuss the issue. With more, here's our Jasmine Brown.
Now, we can be in more problems than we are right now if we decriminalize it or we legalize it at this stage in the Bahamas.
Earlier this week, Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest and National Security Minister Marvin Dames both weighed in on the controversial marijuana debate. Turnquest said despite the noise in the market, the Minister's administration needs to tread carefully when it comes to the controversial issue, while Dames says it's an issue that can no longer be ignored. OPM Press Secretary Anthony Newbold has said the Minister's cabinet will devote a day to discuss marijuana and marital rape. Their comments came days after the CARICOM Regional Commission on Marijuana held a town meeting to gauge Bahamians' views on marijuana. Fox insisted that meeting appeared to be counterproductive.
The decriminalization of marijuana and even the legalization of marijuana, I think it's something we really need to sit down and have a serious conversation about, because, persons have a tendency to throw things up and they don't look at the social aspect of this stuff. And persons like myself, caregivers, Sandlands, Bash, Great Commission, Troy Clark, all of us who are there, we get the fringes of these persons when they start acting up and have these certain type of behaviors going on, then they throw it off on us. So persons are just running them out and just talking about this stuff. But marijuana is a very, very serious drug.
When it comes to the decriminalization of marijuana, Fox has a less harsh stance.
However, I do believe that when we look at the decriminalization of marijuana, I'm more leaning towards that, but then that's a little shady area too, because if you decriminalize a certain amount of marijuana, then actually it's more like you legalizing it too. So I'm just trying to say we just need to be a little bit more lenient for those who might be caught with a small quantity of marijuana. I don't think they should get a slap on the wrist. I think they should be directed for some counseling, some community service, some effective counseling to going to help them with their addiction.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. A U.S. embassy warning advising its citizens not to visit Arawak Cay at night did not sit well with the executive team of the Arawak Cay Vendors Association. While the association criticized the police force for what they say is a poor job of policing the area, one of the association's executives says the guests play a part in some of the problems they face. Here's Jared Higgs.
President of the Arawak Cay Vendors Association, Lillian Larimore Smith, says visitors who come to the Bahamas looking to engage in illegal activity may find themselves in problems. This came after a U.S. embassy warning advising its citizens not to visit the fish fry at night. Fish fry vendors believe it is due to the proliferation of petty crimes in the area.
When you come here, you participate in activities that are legal to the benefit of your health. And when you decide to take part in the benefits of other things, sometimes things happen. But we, as an association on Arawak Cay, we are dedicated to press forward in making our government and the police and whoever is responsible in making Arawak Cay a better, safer environment.
Smith says Arawak Cay isn't an area where violent crimes flourish, adding the issues that do exist can be resolved with better cooperation.
We don't have murders and we don't have extreme robberies. This issue is so small but large. All we need is our relationship to grow and be better, and we work in unison to make things happen. The association has been in office some 1 year now, and the results that we have attained is not progressing.
Smith added that the majority of stalls on Arawak Cay are owned by Black Bahamians and they need the support of their own.
We need you as a people to stand with us on Arawak Cay for our Black nation, because this is what we have. Our executives stand tall and large at this time with you. We love you and we adore you and we need you at this time.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
And we'll take a break here, but still ahead tonight. Find out this year's list of speakers at the annual Bahamas Business Outlook, and we'll go one-on-one with the creator of the Bahims footwear line. Those stories and more when our news returns.